The racing continues at Brands Hatch. The race for the Magnificent Sevens, 42 cars coming out to play. Of course, they all look fairly similar. It's all different varieties of Caterhams. Two slightly different looking cars, two Spire RB7s, a little bit lower. They're starting on rows 2 and 3, but a packed grid of cars coming down through clearways at the moment. The first couple already forming up on the grid. And if it's as good as the racing we've had so far today, we're in for something very, very special indeed. And certainly it's been a fabulous meeting at Brands Hatch. You can see those two Spires, silver with sort of reddy-orange stripes down the side. They're on the grandstand side of the circuit. But the front row, it's Tim Davis in the orange C400 Caterham. Christian Pittard, car 51, also orange. That could confuse me. Coming up soon, he's just in a Caterham 7 and another Caterham C400, also from Boss Racing, starting in 3rd position. That's white with the orange nose. That's Colin Watson, David Watson alongside. And Carl Exton, row 3, John Cutmore, second of the Spires. And then we're moving down very quickly. Row number 6, Lewis Harmon, Philip Nagel. Row 7, Tim Bishop and Alan Cooper. Then Stephen Riley starts on the inside of row number 8 with Tim Woodman alongside. Row number 9 is Bruce Wilson and Adrian Ferdinands. Row number 10, only halfway down the grid, Simon Lancashire and Hugh Coulter. Row 11, Alex Harbour and Robert Cooper. Then on the 12th row, Carl Woodwiss and Tim Ralph. Row number 13, Charles Holroyd and, let's wait for it, and Kevin Cooper as well. And then Greg Catton will be in the 27th position on the grid, and Chris Biglin alongside. Go back one further row. Simon Lanyon will start, handing over to Mark Lanyon in the second half of the race, and David Brayley alongside. Then Ben Roswell, Simon Griffiths, Peter Basterfield and William Redman, John Wright and Carl Lantry, one of several drivers who's got a teammate taking over in the second half. Andy Yeomans, David Holroyd, down to 38th position. Stuart Davidson and Peter French. And the final row, Martin Dolan and Ian Hare. 21 rows, 42 cars, a packed grid. Last few cars just coming into position at the tail of the pack. Just being sorted onto their grid slots. Last handful of cars, but a wonderful sight, these Caterhams, and they just seem to make space for themselves around the circuit under racing conditions. And let's see, it was very close in terms of qualifying, but actually 0.4 of a second advantage for Tim Davis. It's his to lose as long as he can make a decent start. But so many times over the years at Brands Hatch, we've seen the driver on pole position get it a little sideways at the start. Very even Stevens at the start. I suggest one of the Spires, maybe David Watson from 4th, could make a move into 3rd. He's already done that. And the person who lost out was Colin Watson, started 3rd and he's back in 1, 2, 3, 5th position. The red-orange nose on his Caterham in behind, nice and tidy. A few drivers getting a little bit loose coming out of Paddock Hill Bend, but for pole starter Tim Davis got it under control at the top of the hill. Are people going to behave? 2, 3 abreast, a few cars including number 16 changing their line very much to find their way past contact up at Druid. So nice, neat and tidy. The cars, I sense, got away a little bit late off the grid, but for the pole starter all has gone well. But looking behind to see if anybody's lost ground in particular. No, I don't think so, but dream start for Tim Davis. Didn't get the car too sideways off at the start and has been able to pull clear of Christian Pittard. Out of 30s they come, hundreds of them it seems, but already a few little gaps opening out around the middle order. But up front, Tim Davis got it right at the start. And it's a 3-car pack for the lead of the race. Tim Davis now being challenged very hard indeed by Christian Pittard in number 51, who's passed around the outside. That's a very, very bold move. Looking for any further changes. So second has become 3rd. So let's see if Christian Pittard can fight his way back. Down the run out of Stirling's into clearways, into Clark curves. First of the Spires running in about 5th position, the second one row further back. Over the start-finish line they come now. Tim Davis started on pole, but the challenge is very, very real indeed. Being challenged and diving up the inside, Ben Simmons. That is a super tidy manoeuvre. Can he complete it? And the pole man not prepared to back off. And in fact, in 3rd place, it looks very much as though Christian Pittard was wanting to gain a little bit. So Poleman is no longer in the lead of the race, and Ben Simmons has started this race like a rocket. He started from 8th on the grid, 8th into 2nd by the end of the first lap, and going on to the second into the lead of the race. Very, very strong start indeed by Simmons. And looking to see who's cutting in behind. David Watson is in 4th place. 5th place, the driver who started 3rd on the grid, Colin Watson, and John Cutmore is in 6th, and they're starting to try and escape. The other car that's trying to stay with them is Jeremy Adams, who started in 10th place. He is running in 7th, so he's gained 3 places on that opening lap. But with the change back at the front of the pack, well, this is a good race if we can chop and change like this all the way. So number 80 started on pole. Tim Davis lost the lead of the race, then Ben Simmons got it wrong and it changed the other way. All the better. So Simmons is going to have to do it again, but the way he attacked going into Paddock Hill Bend at the start of the second lap goes to prove that he's absolutely more than ready. It is Full Circle Enterprises sponsored CSR to do it all over again, but in fact a very, very good exit speed from Tim Davis out of Stirling, since the first 5 cars now drop those behind. This is battle rejoined. This is fantastic. Now let's take a look. If the field comes up towards the start-finish line, they cross it, and instead of Ben Simmons diving up the inside, this time around it was Christian Pittard starting to take a look, see if he could get the inside of Simmons. He couldn't, so Pittard stays in 3rd place for now. Simmons, can he get on to the tail of Tim Davis? Tim Davis lost that lead, got it back, and now he's looking quite comfortable. As you'd expect, he was the fastest qualifier by 0.4 of a second. Maybe just now he's getting the confidence, the heat's coming into the tyres. Ben Simmons maybe just simply was very happy on cold tyres and able to attack more than his rivals, but he's now falling back onto the nose of Christian Pittard, and this is giving an opportunity for Tim Davis to escape at the front of the field, but only just. David Watson in 85, tucked in behind his little Spire RP7. Must be small if it can make a regular Caterham look large. Just sits that little lower, the bodywork is more streamlined, it's lower deck at the front. Second of the Spires should just about become, no, it should be in the background of the shot, but John Cutmore has lost a bit of ground, still holding on to 6th place. The first 5 have escaped. Now we've got to change for 2nd place. Ben Simmons took the lead a lap ago, lost it to Tim Davis, and now has lost 2nd place to Clive Pittard. Sorry, Christian Pittard, I beg his pardon. And while that happened, number 85, David Watson, was able to close a bit of ground in the Spire, and then in behind with Boss written large on its backside. 92, Colin Watson, who started from 3rd. Can he regather his form, his place, and work his way back to 3rd or even ahead of that? But look at the gap back to 3rd place, or more to the point, look at the track. Here comes back to 3rd place, the 6th place battle, sorry, and it's 98. It's still James Cutmore being pushed rather hard by the driver of number 40, which is Mark James in his Super Sport. White Super Sport, and the next car after him could be, just checking, it should be Exton. No, we've had a slight change. James ahead of Adams now, made that move stick. Cutmore's lost the position there. James has gained, now trying to go up the inside. Adams as well in number 3, so Cutmore's lost 2 places in a very small sector of the track. Can he fight his way back? He qualified in 6th place, he's now down in 8th, so potentially he has the speed. The way it looks, the 2nd Spire is dropping back just that little bit, and in behind is Exton in 18. Carl Exton started from 5th, so he lost out a bit, but he's fighting his way back. Yeah, Exton in 18 has also gone past Cutmore. Has Cutmore got a slight problem? Because look, the next gaggle of cars, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 will be able to pass him on this lap. Such is his lack of pace out of Surtees, and if you're slow out of there, you lose so much ground. Great little packs of cars, with a couple of car lengths between the lot of them. All very tail happy. Last one in the pack and running on the grass. That wasn't what the doctor ordered, but Boss car got back onto the circuit, even making a manoeuvre there. So testing times just outside the top 10. That should have been, I think, Nagel fighting with Cooper. At the front of the field, though, it's the 2 orange cars, and now we've got the car that started the outside the front row, Christian Reed. He fell to 3rd, got back to 2nd. Now he's in the lead of the race. All running wide at the bottom of the hill. Pole man Tim Davis has got to regather himself and putting 2 wheels onto the dirt just on the approach to the braking. Well, as they were already braking for Druids, very tricky indeed. He managed to hold the moment, but that's dropped him off the tail of Pittard. This is good for Pittard, but it's a 40-minute race. 33 minutes remain. This is frenetic stuff. It really is swinging one way and another at the start of the race. Ben Simmons tucked in behind the pole man Tim Davis. He's challenged him before, he's passed him before, but David Watson in the Spire RB7, number 85, tucked in onto their tail, looking to pick up the pieces. He had a very good exit in 85 from Surtees. Down the dip they go. Pilgrim's Drop completed. Hawthorne Hill up to Hawthorne's corner you can carry speed, but if you run wide you start to pay the consequences. They're staying off the curbs and holding on to 5th place behind them. Colin Watson just holding a watching brief for now, not close enough to challenge the spot. If anything, actually starting to drop away just a little bit, but all these cars starting to put their fastest laps in, with the exception of Tim Davis, who did his earlier in the race. But Tim Davis, though he wasn't as fast as his rivals last time around, he's catching up with Christian Pittard now as they go through the second part of the lap, come onto the third sector of the lap. That started just before Stirling's and sweeping around to complete lap number 5. The gap last time around was 0.15 of a second. It's slightly more this time. It's probably half a second or so. Well, how about 0.504 of a second? So half a second we'll call it between friends. And David Watson getting very, very busy trying to catch and pass Ben Simmons. Don't forget Ben Simmons started somewhat down the order in 8th place, yet here he is. He led the race, he got up to the lead from 8th, back to 2nd, now back to 3rd behind Tim Davis. But he's right on Davis's tail. He's got David Watson right under the back of his car as well. There it is, number 85, pushing very hard indeed in 4th place. And Clive Pittard with a bit of breathing space. It was half a second on the start-finish line, and as they accelerate down the straight after Surtees, I sense the race leaders now starting to pull further clear. He's banged in the fastest first sector of anyone. He gained 8 tenths on Tim Davis, who's in 2nd in the first sector alone. Hello, what's that up ahead of them? They're starting to get close to lapping some of the tail enders, and I think car 72 is the first one that's going to come up to meet them. That's Ian Hare, who started from last place on the grid. Big question is not whether they will catch him, how they will catch him, it's where they will catch him. There they are, the black Caterham keeps out of the way, does a good job, but of course he's going to be on the inside line. They have to sweep around the outside of him when they go out of Clearways into Clark Curve. A gaggle of cars in front. They're going to have to be very careful indeed, but through in the lead of the race on the outside line, the high side goes Christian Pittard. He was 5 tenths of a second clear at the start of the last lap. It seems to have gone out 1.1 seconds to the good. And even better from his point of view is those behind, including the poleman Tim Davis, lost a little bit more time going into Paddock Hill Bend behind those drivers on whom they're putting a lap on the board. 2nd, 3rd and 4th, it's Tim Davis, Ben Simmons, David Watson, very, very close indeed. And with that, Clive Watson, who started 3rd, made the better run through the traffic and was able to gain a tiny bit, and he's closed about a second on those ahead. So you take the gifts as they come your way. And such is the advantage that has been gained by Clive Pittard. He's also really starting to open up his pace as well. His best lap, a 1:32.2. Last time around he did a 1:32.4. But importantly for him, he's got clear track. The next car he's going to catch is number 7, Martin Dolan, who was starting in his Caterham Academy car. Doesn't have the pace, but he is going to be caught. But the good thing for the race leader is that is on its own. Then there's a 4 or 5 car gaggle just ahead of that. But each car he can pick off and put between where he's racing on the track and the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th battle. It is nearly nose to tail now. That will be to the race leader's advantage. So Christian Pittard was upset, no doubt, to fall back to 3rd place, having started from 2nd, but he's really worked the traffic well and settled into his pace and really lapping in great, great style. Fastest lap of the race is his. That was done a couple of laps ago. Number 7, as I said, that was expected to be picked off. That has been. It hasn't interrupted the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. They've all managed to pick him off before Paddock Hill Bend, but already the race leader going up the hill to Druryds. The gap 3.5 seconds nearly. Christian Pittard leading this race ahead of Tim Davis. There is Davis, number 80, started on pole. Losing ground in the traffic. Again, bunched up a little bit at Graham Hill Bend. This keeps Ben Simmons on his tail. David Watson, blink of an eye behind them in 3rd place. There we are, the silver car, and now a whole gaggle of cars ahead of them. And we've got flashing yellow lights. Have we got a safety car out of the circuit? Just try and look, but definitely waved yellows greeting them as they got to the end of the Cooper Straight. Best lap, last lap around for Christian Pittard, and he stretched his legs. 3.4 seconds clear. No, they've got, must be an incident down there that they haven't picked up. They've all slowed nicely through Surtees, but as soon as they got through the corner, they were able to pick up the pace and continue. Looking to see if anybody is off the circuit there. I can't see it as yet from the commentary position. Safety car, there is the SC board at the side of the circuit. So one presumes there's a car off in a gravel trap, and if they're sitting there, they do need to be removed. So unfortunate there. Well, we've got car 89 coming into the pit lane. I don't know if that was the one that had a moment, but certainly for Christian Pittard, just remember he had a 3.5 second advantage over Tim Davis. And the safety car will close that down. And for 89 in the pits, that's Bruce Wilson in his Caterham CSR Superlight. Doesn't sense he's got a puncture. Has had an off that might have caused a puncture. They want to check the tyre pressures. Put the safety car out on the circuit. And the driver who needs to be picked up is car number 51. It's Christian Pittard. There he is, running past the pits into Paddock Hill Bend at reduced pace. But he's driven very well. Falling from second to third wasn't good, but working his way back to the front really was very, very good indeed. But he knows he will take the restart from the lead of the field, but he won't have a 3.5 second advantage. He'll have probably a half second advantage over Ben Simmons, who last time around, just before the safety car was flagged out onto the circuit, moved from third up into second place. And we've lost, I'll tell you what we've done, we've lost Tim Davis just out of sight. That looks though it's a high in the gravel trap at Surtees. So how did this happen? On his own, the driver in second place, oh well, just off the circuit and into the gravel. Just double checking, but it does look as though that's Tim Davis, who started from pole position. And if we can close in, it will say Boss Racing on the rear of the car. I think that might have been further down the order, actually. Yet another orange car in the field. Now the truck can't get too close, or that will get bogged down in the gravel trap. But Tim Davis has fallen down the order from, trying to see if he's come into the pits. So there are some cars in the pits. Maybe Tim Davis has come in at this point, but Christian Pittard certainly leads the race. In fact, his advantage over Ben Simmons has advanced to 6. Yes, you can see a whole host of cars have come into the pit lane. Well, anybody's guess who it could be, but there's a little school of thought. Maybe it's number 10, T. Bishop, coming in for a cup of tea and a cucumber sandwich. That's the sort of pit stop I'd like. But there is Tim Davis, was the first car in. He was second, and he has rejoined. It looks like it's a minimum pit stop time. It's all nice and orderly down the pit lane. Car 92 in behind, that's Colin Watson. So Boss Racing bringing in some of their runners, so serving their pit stops. This may be to their advantage. We'll have to see. We have to see also how long the safety car period is. Anyhow, cars getting stuck in the gravel at Surtees is nothing new. It's been happening for many, many moons. But number 80, Tim Davis came in from that lead gaggle. He came in to make a pit stop as soon as he possibly could, and will go out and slot into position. But those who haven't decided to make their pit stop may well do it next time around. But really, from Christian Pittard's point of view, he's got to make sure that when he serves his pit stop, he'll come in from the lead of the race, that he can emerge back into the lead of the race, and that is not a given. So just remember this: Christian Pittard started from the outside of the front row, fell back to third at the start, but the driver who started from pole at some point fell back to third, then back to second, and then was second when the safety car came out, and that is Tim Davis, and he dived into the pit. So did one of his teammates, Colin Watson, who started third. Will it work to their advantage? Just trying to see who's coming in this time around, and I think we've got Christian Pittard in the pit. So those that didn't pit at the first time of asking are doing it this time around. Now let's take a look. The number 51 Caterham into a standstill, while the number 80 from what was second place is pressing on very hard indeed through Stirling. Now, can the pit stop be completed and the number 51 be released, and also Ben Simmons tucked in behind number 14 in the pits? They're going to have to get a move on to get out of the pits. They're not moving, they're bunched up in the pit lane, just looking to see where Tim Davis is. Is that Tim Davis just flashing across the start-finish line? No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So he's gone into the lead of the race. That's worked very tidily, because number 51 is still sitting stationary in the pit lane. That's the driver who had the lead, 3.5 seconds, waiting for his slow pit stop to be completed. Waiting, Christian Pittard. Now there is the train of cars, and Tim Davis has to stop his progress, but he's going to have a handful of cars between him and the rest. David Watson in 85, 2 cars further back, also has served his pit stop time. They still haven't got this one pulled away. The tow rope is attached now, but frustration all around, it must be said. You have to guess when and where you're going to be able to make your stops and whether you can rejoin. And still Christian Pittard sitting in the pits. I just absolutely want confirmation, because of course the length of time served in the pit lane would have been exactly the same for Tim Davis. Just got to double check that he has in fact instructions being given. You've got to go up to pit exit, but can they get out before the lights stop them in the pit lane? Can't quite see the lights at pit exit, but they want to get up there before the safety car grouping comes around, and Christian Pittard is able to do that. And a whole host of others in behind will have Colin Watson as well. No cars yet coming into view into the stadium section. In the back of the shot, safety car leading the field around, and haven't come back from the country loop, the Grand Prix loop. And at the top of the time charts at the moment, ahead of Tim Davis in car number 80 is a car that hasn't served a pit stop. So 59 Adrian Ferdinand will lose that position quite clearly when it does come in, and that should put Tim Davis into the lead of the race from David Watson and Colin Watson. Yeah. Tim Davis started from pole, got past, fell to third, got back to second, and was running second at the time of the safety car. But by diving in as soon as he could, he's in a right gaggle of cars here behind number 13. But all things being equal, he should be the race leader, and the rest of the pack that were at the front end of the race are going to have to play catch up and do overtaking to get to him. There is 80 running in about 4th, 5th, 6th place behind the safety car. And when the safety car releases the field, look in the background of the shot, look for car 51 just coming into shot. 85, no, right, what we've got is Tim Davis, and a short distance behind, 2 cars further back, David Watson, number 85, then a long way back to this driver, Christian Pittard, who was leading by 3.5 seconds. He's got Ben Simmons in behind, but they're already now going through Sterling's, and the safety car pack is a lot further around the lap, just in fact turning into Paddock Hill Bend. Of course, the cars giving chase are running at a greater speed, but they are not allowed to overtake. They get onto the back of this train of cars. But from there, with 20 minutes remaining, almost half of this 40-minute race, then it's going to be very hard for them to get up with Tim Davis and David Watson. Just remember the numbers, 80 and 85. There is 51. Christian Pittard got himself into the lead of the race in his Jam-sponsored Caterham. He's got Ben Simmons in behind. Ben, who was so effective on cold tyres, went from 8th at the start of the race up into the lead, then back to second, back to third. Could still be in the mix, but unfortunately for them, the timing of the safety car and the positioning of it on the circuit, and then not making the pit stop at the first time of asking, really does appear to have cost them big time. Christian Pittard in 9th place in the order, but more than a few cars will be a lap down on him, and they will be between him and the driver he's got to try and trace to take victory in the race, Tim Davis. But Tim Davis and David Watson, they've effectively bought themselves an advantage by pitting as soon as they could, and they're running 1st and 2nd in the race. Clive Watson in 3rd place in the 92 Boss Racing version. Still some pit stops going on. That would presume with car 59. Actually, I'm just trying to check that everybody has made a pit stop. No, there are still a few who don't appear to have done it, but we've got 4 or 5 cars in the pit lane. But it's waiting for that car to be pulled clear at Surtees, and how soon this safety car period will come to an end. I sense fairly soon indeed, but keep an eye on the lights on the roof of the safety car as it goes around. Last 2 cars now making their pit stops. I think there were 4 or 5 more that owed pit stops. They've decided now is the time, but in fact, unfortunately for them, it might be the very time that the race goes green. Yes, we're going green now, so they'll make a pit stop when cars are going past at full racing speed rather than the abated speed behind the safety car. 3 cars at pit exit waiting to rejoin. The big question now is, what can our race leader do? Tim Davis, number 80. 1, 2, 3 cars he puts between himself and the best of the rest. Look in the background for 85. That's David Watson in the lower spire. He's about 4 cars further back. He's lost a couple of positions there. He will pick them off, but Tim Davis very, very positive indeed in the traffic there. And it'll be some distance back to the driver who had been leading the race, Christian Pittard. He's crossed the start-finish line in 9th position. And he's got to see if he can pick off how many of those ahead of him he can pick off. Race leader there, Tim Davis. Orange nose, black bodywork. Car number 80. Goes past one of his own teammates, and he keeps on putting cars between where he's running on the track and 85, the Spire RB7 of David Watson, running in 2nd place. As David turns into Hawthorns, I'm trying to see how far back the 3rd place car. It's about 5 seconds further back. Colin Watson in the 92 car. Ooh. So another car removed from the cushion that race leader Tim Davis has. But going into Stirling's, unfortunately, real momentum loss for the driver in 2nd place, David Watson. In 85, he now gets past those, but unfortunately for him, the car in front is now rather smaller because Tim Davis is escaping. We're waiting to see at the end of this lap how big the gap is from 1st to 2nd. With 1 second flat last time around, I sense it's gone out. You see some of the quicker cars picking their way through the traffic. That was Colin Watson, car number 92 in 3rd place. It's 3 seconds 1st to 2nd. That's been a really, really good start for Tim Davis. You sense it, not just in terms of position, but he was looking super, super positive. 92 in 3rd place. Colin Watson started 3rd, fell back a bit, but this one swung his way again by the timing of the pit stop. And Christian Pittard still in 9th place. He's getting close to the car in front, but really taking the pit stop 1 lap later under the safety car cost him big time. Ben Simmons as well. In fact, Ben Simmons has had a better restart. He's got up to 6th, and Christian Pittard is only in 9th. So look out for car number 14. I said he was good on cold tyres. He clearly, as the tyre temperatures dropped after the pit stops and running behind the safety car, he really joined the dots and nailed it. And that's how he's gained a few positions and places and moved ahead of Christian Pittard. Christian's in 9th. There he is, car number 51. He will pick off some of the cars ahead, but he's got to be bold. Looking up the inside, he's got the pace, but wasn't offered the space. Oh, and there's been contact, the lining of a wheel arch, going for a Burton there. Or was it actually just the little wheel arch itself that went flying? A little bit of snaking up ahead. Who's missing a wheel arch? Where's the car in front of Christian Pittard? Getting a good run onto the start-finish straight. Just to let you know, Tim Davis still leading and extending his lead to 3.8 seconds. Ben Simmons 6th to 5th. Christian Pittard 9th to 8th. They're the two that really lost out, and they're picking off the places, but the clock is counting down. 15 minutes remain in this race, and Tim Davis leading by 3.8 seconds. Last time around, he gained 0.7 of a second over the chasing David Watson. David falling away a little bit, but he's got nearly a 5-second cushion over Clive Watson, who's running in 3rd in car number 92. And Ben Simmons, having risen up the order, got up into 5th place, running off the circuit, no good to anybody, so that's cost him time, momentum, speed. It does mean Christian Pittard would have gained places, and it looks though Ben Simmons has fallen to about 15th place by the time he rejoined. He's not in the shot. Christian Pittard is the orange Caterham with the black stripe up the nose, car 51, very, very busy up ahead of him. There's a car missing one of its rear wheel covers as well, so you can see there has been contact at various points around the order. And Pittard is now being increasingly positive in traffic, looking for gaps on the track, not always obvious, and it's car 91 that's missing part of one of its wheel arches. So very, very busy out on the track, but Tim Davis, he's lost a little bit of his advantage. Fastest lap of the race for David Watson in the number 85 car, but various cars are getting little punishments coming their way, disqualifications, perhaps for pitting too late. I don't want to second guess that, but 3 numbers being held up on the start-finish line with the black flag, so some protocol misdemeanor. Presumably Christian Pittard now up to 5th. Don't forget, not so long ago he was down in 9th at the restart. car in front of him is car 91. That's the one missing one of its wheel covers at the rear, and that's Lewis Harmon. Two of the Boss Racing cars very, very close in front of him. And too close contact. Identical liveries, and they possibly both missing car parts there. One hit the back of the other, and both of the cars from Boss Racing, they share a garage. This could be a little bit uncomfortable. And I think one of the two that went off was Lewis Harmon. I can't quite identify the other one. I think it was effectively a lap down. Meanwhile, Tim Davis continues to lead this race. Let's take a look. Two cars with red noses, ready orange noses, and it's 91 giving chase to 94. Oh, front wheels actually went off the deck when he clattered into the rear there, and of course neither of those could turn in. If your front wheels are in the air, there's no way you're turning into Surtees. So double frustration for the crew there. Well, caught by the cameras. Waved yellow flags, no surprise, because those two cars are dead ahead at the Cooper Straight, just the point you should be looking to turn into the left-hander. Those cars both broken, and body parts, including the nose of Lewis Harmon's 91 car, sitting at track side. Driver removing himself to safety. And in among that car, 51, another place gain for Christian Pittard, up to fourth. Well, it's a big ask. He's got 11 minutes left, and he's got to gain 13 seconds to catch Clive Watson in second place. Tim Davis leading the race. It's absolutely stayed stable at the top. It was thereabouts, gaining a tenth here or there, losing a tenth here or there as well. 3.3 seconds between Tim Davis and David Watson. That's car number 80 ahead of number 85. And Christian Pittard chasing all the time, ruining what happened in the timing of his pit stop. Lost so much ground. But don't forget, he was leading by 3.5 seconds, which is the leading margin now. That was Christian Pittard before the safety car came out, but now it's Tim Davis who started from pole, leading the race by that margin. 3.3 seconds at the moment. And there is Tim, car number 80. Cool as you like. Another lap coming up to completion. He's got 15 on the board. This will be lap number 16. And has he stretched his advantage? I think he has. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's going to stay around 3 seconds. David Watson keeping him honest. Just waiting to see. Actually, I sense it might have gone out a little bit. No, down a little bit. 3.1 seconds. But importantly for Tim Davis, he's got traffic up ahead. It's how he picks it off. Round Druids he goes. Car number 7 is the first one he wants to pass. That should be Gary Boone. Caterham Academy car, keeps out of the way. Another car passed in the background. There is the second place runner, David Watson. Turning left, trying to get a nice clean exit from Surtees. The sooner you can get on the power, the more advantage you can have, and it helps when you're overtaking, and also just making sure the driver in the lead of the race, Tim Davis, doesn't escape any further. Someone's had a bit of an off-track moment there. You can see the dust in the air as they go into Pilgrim's Drop. Up the inside into Hawthorne, you have to hope that you've been spotted. Car 54 keeping out of the way very nicely indeed, so well driven there. That was Mark Lanyon in the Superlight R. So David Watson keeps the chase going into the final 10 minutes, this 40-minute race. And those, the Spire RB7 looks like it's almost dragging on the ground. Super low, looks incredibly nimble. Well, they're all nimble, we know that. But he can put it where he wants it. And I think the first car that was lapped has been lapped all over again. What is the gap? Onto the start-finish straight. Lights ablaze comes the race leader. That's Tim Davis. It looks like it's going to be about the same. 2.5 to 3 seconds advantage. What's it to be this time around? First to second, Tim Davis. Oh, it's gone to 4.4 seconds. So that was better in the traffic there for race leader Tim Davis. And for driver in second place, David Watson, the laps are starting to get away from him. He's going to have to really get as close as he can and hope he can pounce. But right now, for the race leader, for Tim Davis, he's literally got one car he's got to pass. Then he's going to have clear track for some long time, which is an absolute dream for Tim Davis. Car number 20 is the one he's got to pass. Look at how he's managed to do that along Cooper Straight. Tim Woodman. Clive Watson coming across the line in third place. He's 6 and a bit seconds down on David Watson, who's holding second place. Then Christian Pittard continues to close, but you know, he had a 12.5 second deficit to Clive Watson in second place. He's cut it down, but only to 11.5 seconds. So I'm afraid it's not likely he's going to get up onto the podium. So he'll have to keep his frustration in check and return to the paddock without a visit to the podium. Or will he? Just under 8 minutes remain. And looking at the pace of the cars out on the track, the first 4 runners are by far the fastest at the moment. They're lapping in 1 minute 33s, even 32 in the case of Christian Pittard. But a lot of those cars behind are running 4 or 5 seconds slower last time around. Yes, there's been traffic, but it does show the gold standard very much as Tim Davis, David Watson, Clive Watson and Clive Pittard at the moment. And Ben Simmons, by the way, in car number 14, who fleetingly took the lead of the race off that brilliant start up from 8th place, has served a pit stop, his second visit to the pits. In fact, he's still in the pits at the moment, but big frustration for him. He had the pace to be in that lead quintet. Well, the quartet that would have been a quintet had he been there. But Tim Davis counting down the laps, 7 minutes remain, hanging the tail out on the number 80, the C400 Caterham, through Graham Hill Bend, a corner that just keeps on tightening. Therefore, you can understand why the tail wants to come around. You want to get the power down. Nice, clear run. Lovely balance for Tim Davis as he ran through Surtees, up over the crest, now dropping down Pilgrim's Drop. And he's got the right-hand side of the circuit and picks off one of the cars to put another lap on it, and up to Hawthorns. He's not impeded, he can carry his speed, may be able to pick one if not both of those off before Westfield. Yes, he does, up the inside of number 49. They've seen him, they've stayed nice and wide to let him through, and that's another advantage gained by the race leader, Tim Davis. And in fact, his first sector of the lap was the fastest one he's managed as yet, so he's going better and better, and he's working the traffic too. He's doing well. 4 and a bit seconds, only 4.2 seconds clear of David Watson on the start-finish line, and I think the way Tim Davis worked the traffic there, that surely would have gone out. There in the background of the shot on the left-hand side of the screen, David Watson giving chase. May not have been compromised too badly at Stirlington. It's a corner that really hurts if you get cars just impeding you. You want to get the power down, because then you can carry that all the way through Clearways, through Clark Curve, onto the start-finish straight, on up to Paddock Hill Bend. You get a nice clear line there. You can carry it on up towards Druids. But looking very light on its tyres, David Watson in second place, 3.3 seconds down. In fact, he gained on that lap 9/10. So traffic took away for Tim Davis as well, as I thought he worked it. Clearly it caught him in parts that it didn't catch David Watson, but I think in fairness it's probably gone the other way on previous laps. So David Watson running along Cooper Straight, about to turn into Surtees, and it actually he gained 2/10 on the race leader. Gained almost 3/10 through the first sector. I thought he just looked a little bit closer as he turned left at Surtees. Now running down the straight, down Pilgrim's Drop, up Hawthorn Hill. Now can he catch Tim Davis? 5 minutes remain, and Davis has got traffic up ahead of him, but the important thing for Watson, he has clear sight. Now, where has the circuit gone? Well, one of the runners has gone wide at Sheen Curve, kept his foot in and rejoined. That's a big moment for car number 13. It looked great on the grass, but I think probably better on the circuit. And a good save there for Greg Catton in his R400. And you can see that how that can happen so easily at Sheen Curve. It has been happening over the decades there. The car gets a little bit light as you come up the very steep rise from Dingle Dell, and if you're just a little bit wide, suddenly your options start to become limited very, very quickly indeed. 3.3 seconds was the gap last time around, and I sense David Watson's had another good lap. Has he got it down to 2 and a bit seconds? 2.7 seconds, so the clock is counting down to just over 4 minutes, but David Watson, the last few laps have been very good for him. He gained 0.6 of a second last time around, and now unfortunately blocked as he goes up into Druid behind the number 42 entry. He's got around it, but it just compromised him a little bit. There was absolutely nowhere else Richard Carter could go in 42. Had to turn into the hairpin, but again, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose in traffic. Suddenly great gaggles of cars all together, just the tail of the top 10. And those exactly the sort of gaggles of cars that the race leader doesn't want to catch. Not between now and the end of the race. Car number 21 making a bold dive. It is like the end of the opening lap of a race. 5 cars covered by, 6 cars covered by, well, a large bed sheet. So they're nowhere near the front of the field, but having a fantastic scrap all the same. In fact, they are at the front end of the field. It's Nagel, Adams and Riley fighting with Cooper all over. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I just looked down for a second. 7th place downwards. So not just pride at stake, but championship points as well for all of them. And it's Cooper in 71. Moving forward, Adams in 3, 19, losing a tiny bit of ground for Nagel. So the order does keep changing in that battle, and I don't think they've finished yet with 2.5 minutes remaining. Keeping an eye on the gap between first and second, and it was a better lap for the race leader. He's now got it out to 3.3 seconds, so it's very much back to where it was about 4 laps ago for Tim Davis, and with 2.5 minutes remaining. Just got to keep his nose clean, and Davis is running down the Cooper Straight. He's got no one particularly close to his nose, and he's got one car between where he's running on the circuit and David Watson, who's giving chase in second place. So out of 13s probably for the penultimate time. Tim Davis hairs down Pilgrim Drop, and the car up ahead I think is far enough ahead. He may be able to, obviously won't pass it before Hawthorns, may be able to pick it off before they get up to the next corner. Westfield, great marshalling there, waving the blue flags down the inside into Westfield without too much of a compromised line. Slightly tighter line than he'd taken if he was all on his own, but a little bit of compromise. So let's see, will we get to the full 40 minutes, or will we have the checkered flag coming out at the end of this lap? I tell you what, Tim Davis has take that, and the car just ahead of him has obviously run a little bit wide at Stirling's. These little things can just trip you up just when you're minding your own business, but luckily for Tim Davis, nobody on his tail. He had a 3.3 second advantage at the start of this lap. Flashes past onto the final lap of the race, and his advantage over 85 over David Watson is 3.1 seconds. So it swings a little bit one way, swings another. Haven't talked too much about Christian Pittard, still in 4th place, unlikely to catch Clive Watson, who's running in 3rd, but he's just put in a really quick lap, the fastest first sector of anyone. So Christian Pittard far from finished in 51, but I think the clock is going against him. He's got it down to 2.9 seconds. He took nearly 4 seconds off Clive Watson. Can Watson hang on? In fact, if it's another 4 seconds and an overtake is involved in this race, we could have Christian Pittard up onto the podium. I think you'd have to say he really deserves that, having fallen back down the order because of the mistiming of the pit stop. It was just unfortunate when the safety car was out on the circuit. Right, 3rd place, Clive Watson puts another car between him and the chasing Christian Pittard. Look for the orange flash in the background. There it is, going into Surtees, carrying good speed through the corner. Wasn't compromised by traffic and won't be on the long straight, Derek Minter straight as it used to be. Down Pilgrim's Drop they go. Brands Hatch at its finest, the Grand Prix loop in full use here. But this is the final lap. Look, 40 minutes, about to tick down to nothing at the top of the clock. Hawthorns completed for the battle for 3rd place. Westfield bouncing off the curb on the inside. Christian Pittard is a great gaggle of traffic up ahead that's going to interrupt them. Well, nobody's going to interrupt Tim Davis. Slight compromise, sweeping through clearways, gets the move done to take victory in this race. Just got to come up to the finish line and the checkered flag, and very happy indeed, Tim Davis. A victory, and it's going to be by about 2 seconds, I think, at the end of the race. 2nd place, 2.5 seconds back to David Watson. They'll be pleased. And in 3rd place, it looks so Clive Watson is just going to hang on. He's got 3 cars ahead of him. He's going to weave his way between, well, at least 2 of them. But he takes 3rd place in 92, just in ahead of the driver who deserved a bit more than not getting on the podium, Christian Pittard. He ends up in 4th place, just half a second down. And was that fastest lap of the race? Not last time around, but one of his previous laps. So good finish to the race, but the frustration of the interruption of the safety car. Sometimes you win with it, sometimes you lose. And often it's down to just where your car is placed as you come around, and when the safety car comes out, whether you can choose to dive in or not. And for Ben Simmons, he lost out in all of that. He was also one who pitted the same time as Christian Pittard, but he came back out and served a 2nd pit stop, and that's dropped him way down the order. In fact, I'm not sure he ever emerged from his 2nd visit to the pits. 5th place goes to Carl Exton and John Byrne. John Byrne bringing it home. That is car number 18. And the top 6 completed by car number 40, which worked his way up the order for Mark James. He started in 7th, only moved to 6th, but going forward, that's what it's all about in motor racing. We're still waiting for that great little tussle over 7th place, and right on the last lap, Number 3 took the position. That was Jeremy Adams, but it was very, very tight in behind. But he did well, worked his way through that group. Car 71 takes 8th place. That's Cooper. Riley in 9th, and Nagel lost a little bit of ground in car number 19 and ended up in 10th place overall. But it really felt like a race of 2 halves. But Tim Davies quick in the first part, quick in the second part, and did enough to win by just under 2.5 seconds from the chasing Clive Watson. In fact, David Watson should have been 3rd, but he's just dropped back down to, should have been 2nd. We've had a swap of the Watsons there. And Christian Pittard. We're having some penalties being applied. So I looked at the timing screen, looked down, I've looked up again, and instead of getting up to 4th place, Christian Pittard's only gone to 5th. Clive Exton, who finished 5th, has gone 4th. Stay with me on this one. And the Watson swapped over, so I'll have to write it all out again. So it's Tim Davies from Clive Watson. David Watson, who was 2nd on the track, but with time penalties, has fallen back. In fact, just remember, he crossed the finish line just under 2.5 seconds down on Tim Davies, but with time penalties, now 34 seconds in arrears. So write it in pencil, not in ink, and maybe that's not the last of the penalties. But Tim Davies for now, and hopefully forever, still at the top of the classification. 23 laps on the boards. So eventually, if you look at it on the timesheets, he won by 16.5 seconds. On the road, he won it by 2.5 seconds. But with David Watson in the number 85 Spire RB7 being pushed back down with time penalties, 2nd place now, Clive Watson. So a 1-2 for Boss Racing. So let us take a look at the results and hope no more penalties are applied, because Tim Davies at the top of the table by 16.5 seconds, because David Watson given a time penalty. That drops him behind Colin Watson. Carl Exton and John Byrne promoted ahead of Christian Pittard, who was 4th at the finish, falls to 5th in the results with time penalties. Then Mark James, Jeremy Adams, Carl Woodwist, Richard Carter and William Redman completing the top 10, but only 8 cars on the lead lap. The safety car certainly shuffled the pack today in the magnificent 7s here at Brands Hatch. But for all the drivers, a treat to be out on the Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch in wonderful late summer sunshine. And I think a lot of drivers can be very proud indeed of their run. And on that final lap, by the way, Christian Pittard set the fastest first sector, the fastest second sector as well, and very competitive lap right at the end of the race. 1 minute 31.304, fastest lap of the race as well. And quite a few tumblers down towards the tail of the field there, but certainly some people caught out by the safety car. Some simply caught out by gravel traps being where their cars were heading towards, and Surtees seemed to be a favourite place for putting a car off the circuit. But the circuit is now clear, and the drivers will go off to their podium ceremony and enjoy it very much indeed. But for Tim Davies, started from pole position. Let's take a look. Here's car number 80 on the pit wall side alongside Christian Pittard, a little bit sideways at the start, and the real charge came from about 5 or 6 places further back up into 3rd place from 8th on the grid. Ben Simmons, white number 14. There he is. First of all, he had to get past David Watson in the Atomic Racing Spire, but then in behind, all nice and neat and tidy. There is the move. Up into the lead of the race went Ben Simmons. He could go no higher, but unfortunately for him, he then started going back down the order. Oh, that's how to lose parts of your body parts off your car. That was Lewis Harmon, the furniture company sponsorship for his car. Hopefully it wasn't on the wing that went missing. But at the front of the race, Tim Davies got himself back ahead of Ben Simmons, and up into 3rd place came David Watson. In behind, it was very close indeed. And then the tail wags the dog. This is the first of several cars that stuck themselves in the gravel up at Surtees. We think that was possibly Tim Bishop. Didn't ever get to confirm that. 3 cars having to wait at pit exit to rejoin the race when the safety car released the field. But for 2 cars, it was very good news indeed. It was 85, it was good news up into 2nd place. Tim Davies into the lead of the race, and the driver who was leading before, Christian Pittard, had to fight his way up the order in car number 51. He had so much traffic to try and get past, and nearly came to blows. The car ahead of him, you can see Lewis Harmon still with that missing rear wing, and then he got a wheelie off the back of one of the sister cars from Boss Racing. Others still couldn't resist the law of the gravel at Sheen Curve. That was car number 13. But up front, it was still Tim Bishop. Fantastic battle. This is it at the tail end of the top 10, and that order didn't stop changing until the final lap. But Tim Davies taking victory in the background, crossing the track at the finish line in 2nd place was David Watson, but he got a time penalty, and then a clear victory at the end of the day went to Tim Davies in number 80. Congratulations, a great race at Brands Hatch. The last race of the day after a fantastic weekend at Brands Hatch. Sunshine here, and it's the Ricky Parker Morris JMC Racing Special Saloon race with the Modsports series as well. Cars from the past, space frames, Modsports, Special Saloons, all very exciting indeed. And Rod Burley will be starting from pole position in the number 44 modern engine group. His is a BMW E36. It looks undramatic, but it's very, very quick indeed. Josh Ronchetti will start alongside him, then Southcote and Minton on the second row. The car's been raced for a very long time. Hall and Can on row number 3, and then comes Crabtree in the RS200 and Cooper, car number 34, starting alongside him. Joe Ward in Baby Bertha. Look in the background shot, it's silver. You'll remember it from the 1970s when the great Jerry Marshall drove it with such aplomb. Great for these cars. Darians, Aston Martins, there's the RS200 of Crabtree, and a whole host of cars. Baby Bertha with the dealer team Vauxhall red, white and green flashes on its silver flanks, and a great deal of racing to be had. This is going to be quick fire, no pit stops in this. This is a 20-minute blast to bring the meeting to a close. And cars with favourite liveries as well. The Vion Porsche looks absolutely fantastic in its aquamarine colours, famous from Bob Volek's days in the 1970s. And it's not the sublime to the ridiculous, it's just all sublime here. Awesome sunshine at Brands Hatch, and great to see these special saloons of Modsports. I always particularly like special saloons. They provided great racing in the day, and I hope they're going to treat us to a fabulous race here at the end of the meeting at Brands Hatch on this bank holiday Sunday. That's some 240Z as well in the mix, but in the mix very much at the tail of the field. So Rod Burley, let's just reiterate, number 44 on the front row in his BMW. Josh Ronchetti in the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, that's car number 13 alongside. We'll get to see the front of the grid. There it is, black with the orange stripes. In third place, we've got Southcote in the little Modsports MG behind. And then 75 Minton starting from 4th position on the grid. Dan Minton sharing with Steve, Ford Escort Mark II. Heat in the tyres, little Triumph GT6. Actually, it's a Spitfire, I beg its pardon. Spitfire Modsport car. Obviously, what you see on the surface is not so much underneath. Space frame, a lot of these, and I still love the look of those Escort Mark IIs. They go around, fans still in the deck chairs in the lovely sunshine here at Brands Hatch. In the background of the shot there is Baby Bertha, silver, slab-nosed. Firenze are underneath, but look at the big ducts on the top of the hood. You can see that was a car made with special aerodynamic tweeting. Smallest car in the field surely has to be the Suzuki SC100. Just saw it in shot, car number 40. It's bright red and it's very small indeed. Look out for that. That will be very quick indeed. Don't often see the Wedge Triumph TR7 TR8 model out there on the circuit, but there's one out there to entertain us today. That's the V8 version driven by Jim Seward. He's sort of middle order, but the formation lap is almost complete, and Rod Burley is leading around. Never sure if he's got 400 or 500 wins at Brands Hatch. He seems to be winning for about 30 plus years. That's probably getting on towards 40 years here at Brands Hatch, but he blasts away. But Josh Ronchetti's going to keep him honest, diving down into Paddock Hill Bend. The light getting a little lower. It's certainly going to be in the faces of some of these runners at the front of the field. Escort Mark II runs off. Was that the Minton car? I fancy it may well have been car number 75. But up front, the pole starter, the first three in. No, Minton's still going well. The red and white Escort in 4th stroke 5th position there. Nice, clean and tidy at the top of the hill. Looking to see who's making the moves, and inevitably it's going to be loads of power going down from Rod Burley. 3.1 litre BMW at the front of the field. Heart power. Big Aston Martin in the background. It's a very, very small counterpart. It's being challenged by a car actually you'd think would be a lot smaller, but the RS200 with all the extra wings and things on the A-Speed entry driven by Wayne Crabtree, almost the same size. Up to Hawthorne, so they go. Definitely it's going to be a face full of sunshine for the drivers when they turn right and get down into the drop from this corner here. That's Westfield dropping down into Dingledale. You can see the light catching on the camera as well. Then back into the shade. It's light and dark. Ronchetti just lost a bit of ground. He certainly seems to. Yes, he's fallen back to second place, to third, from second to third, and now he's got the Aston Martin coming through onto his tail. So Ricky Can getting a move on in number 20, the big Vantage, and in behind the RS200 of Wayne Crabtree as they go out of Surtees. And Ronchetti, has he got a problem, or is it just simply the power of the Aston Martin and the RS200 is too much? Because very quick off the start line from the outside of the front row for Josh Ronchetti, but in the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus going backwards. So 1 lap on the board, and it's Rod Burley leading by just over half a second from Southcote in the little Modsport MG. Someone's kicked up the dirt. Little Hillman in the background running a little bit wider. Was that a Sunbeam? The cars that look as though they're going to be making progress are these big grunters. And certainly the Aston Martin has got loads of power, but look, Crabtree's got the handling. Look at the aerodynamics on that RS200. So much downforce from that enormous front wing. The rear held down by a super wide rear wing too. Now just taking it, I can't believe it was only half a second back to Southcote in second place. Ricky Can now up to third place in the Aston Martin, fourth place to Wayne Crabtree, and we know that order has now changed, so it's Crabtree in the Ford RS200 up into third place, sorry, ahead of the Aston Martin. Swapping positions. Ronchetti's holding on, but he's now got a little bit of challenging coming from behind. Dale Minton's still there, the red and white Escort, but he's just lost a position to the Peugeot that's dived its way up the inside. Yeah, front wing really started to kick up the spark. Spectacular in the Wildcats liveried car, but not sure it's exactly how the car should be set up. But the car really making the moves is number 309, Danny Morris. Of course, this is a race that matters an enormous amount to Danny. Ricky Parker Morris, the late Ricky Parker Morris, such a valiant runner in this class of racing. Driver representative, died of COVID-related illness earlier this year, but such a stalwart of the CSCC, and particularly for the Modsports class. Up front, very, very close indeed. Just 0.2 of a second between first and second. Rob Burley hanging on, but Southcote pushing him very, very hard indeed. Is there going to be a change on this lap? Fastest lap of the race actually set by Wayne Crabtree in third place, the RS200. Yes, the white 200 is started to catch, but the lead battle very intense indeed. Rod Burley leading the way, but Southcote right under his rear wing. 3 more different sorts of cars you couldn't get unless you put some single-seaters in this race. For a second we lost Southcote, the much, much smaller car tucked under the rear wing of the BMW, and Crabtree's catching the pair of them. Burley's still in front as they go to the bottom of Pilgrim's Drop. Is there going to be a change for second place? No, there isn't. Is there going to be a change for the lead of the race? Yes, there may well be. And Ricky Can hanging on in fourth place in the Aston Martin. Then there's a bit of a gap, in fact quite a large gap, back to car 17, Ian Hall in his Darien Wildcat. That was the one we saw striking the deck with its front wing a short while ago. And don't forget Danny Morris, who's started to make really good progress as well. Danny, brother of Ricky Parker Morris, but unfortunately the 66 Anglia is going no further, coming to a halt at the side of the circuit. That was Neil Duke. Now, what can Wayne Crabtree do? He's starting to catch Southcote, has for a couple of laps. Southcote in turn, getting right under the rear wing, but the punch of the RS200 out of Clark Curve means he may be even close enough to go into second place up the inside of Southcote, who's not going to back off into Paddock Hill Bend. They'll go around almost side by side. That was brave, and Ricky Can's catching the pair of them. First to fourth, almost nose to tail. This is cracking stuff. Burley holds on for now. Oh, Southcote getting very taily, and that means he's not going to get the power down coming down the hill. Can Crabtree sweep around the outside? No, the corner's going to tighten on him, so a little bit of breathing space there with a quarter of the race run for the race leader, Rod Burley, but it's 1, 2, 3 and 4 covered by next to nothing. Going up into Surtees. Are we going to have a change of second position? Yes, we are. Crabtree is through, up ahead of Southcote. Ricky Can will get all that V8 power down onto the circuit, of course. Aston Martin's traditionally heavy, but loads of grunt. 5.5 litres, or as near as 5.34 litres for the Aston Martin. Now a challenge for the lead of the race. Wayne Crabtree going very well indeed. Ian Hall, Danny Morris, 5th and 6th now. But some distance off the tail of this pack, about 5.5 seconds back from Ricky Can's Aston Martin in 4th place. What can Crabtree do about the race leader, Rod Burley? Rod hanging on but I really do sense that's the occasion. Fastest lap of the race was by Crabtree last time around. Up the inside as they go into clearways, not quite happening. He's trying to unsettle Rod Burley, but look at the acceleration. The RS200 will surely, well, I was going to say get him before Paddock Hill Bend. He got him even before the start-finish line. So Crabtree second becomes first. Look how he's taken half a second out on the previous lap and 1.5 seconds last time around. So he's taken the lead of the race, and now watch him stretch his legs. Indeed, can Burley hang on in second place? Can Southcote keep third? Because look, Ricky Can is keeping them honest in behind. I'm just looking to see how much Danny Morris is catching them. Fastest lap of the race. Danny Morris, look out for the grey Peugeot. It's a-coming. Car number 309, Peugeot 309, but not how it left the production line. I think that's quite safe. Entered by Spirit of RPM. That's Ricky Parker Morris. There it is. Ooh, a little bit skitterish on the approach to Surtees, but certainly hauling in the cars ahead. So, as Wayne Crabtree escapes at the front of the field, second, third and fourth, nearly nose to tail as they go down Pilgrim's Drop, and Danny Morris catching all the time. And the great history of running those Peugeots in Thunder Saloons and Modsports racing. So Ricky Parker Morris and Danny. There's Danny in the background of the shot. Fifth. Will it become fourth? And now the biggest engine car in the field, the 7.7 litre Corvette C3. That's Neil Vaughan. Bright yellow, quite obvious to those behind. Makes a big rumble, but it does put Crabtree onto the grass, exiting Sheen Curve. He just simply went around the outside, ran out of space. That brings Rod Burley back onto his tail. Could this race get any better? What you want is the whole group, just as Crabtree was starting to escape. Now a better exit for Southcote out of Stirling's. He's alongside and past Rod Burley down into clearways. He sweeps now up into second place. What can he do about Crabtree, or will Crabtree make another mistake? The options became a little bit limited for him, but again that Ford RS200 accelerates down the start-finish straight, and Burley has gone back from first to second, second to third, and now third to fourth. Ricky Can's come through, and it might even be fourth to fifth place for the pole man, Rod Burley, because look, Danny Morris right onto his tail in fifth place. This is fabulous stuff. Just taking a look to see who's in sixth place. As Danny Morris gets right into the mix, it's car number 17, Hull. Ian Hall, I beg your pardon, the Darien Wildcat, but he's some distance behind. The Mondeo space frame keeps out of the way. That's good to see. Rod Burley getting a little bit onto the grass at the exit of Graham Hill Bend. First two just making their escape. Now Ricky Can has got Rod Burley bottled up behind him, and that will surely allow the extra gun that looks as though it's coming for Danny Morris. Woof, past he goes. Peugeot 309 up into fourth place. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, all in shot as they rise up Hawthorne Hill into Hawthorns. How many more place changes are we going to get? We're nearly halfway at the halfway point in this 20-minute race. The Modsports and Special Saloons here at Brands Hatch, bringing the Sunday race programme to an end. It's been a day packed with drama, incident and some fantastic racing. Huge fields of cars, and just great to see these Modsports and Special Saloons giving it everything. The diversity of cars in this field, just so exciting. All going about their racing in different ways according to where they can put their performance down. But for Rod Burley, who started in pole position, he was first, he was second, he was third, he's fourth, now he's fifth, and he's falling away from Danny Morris. The action's up the front. Crabtree, I thought, was going to escape, but certainly Southcote is keeping him more than honest at the front of the field. Very, very different machinery, but certainly working super hard. Traffic up ahead, trying to see what car is the next one they're going to come across, but they've got to be very careful as they go past. Should be Craig Percy in the V8 Morris Minor. Let's take a look. It's large, it's very powerful. Yeah, he's just up ahead in the Triumph TR7 V8 as well. They've got to try and pick them off down to Graham Hill Bend. Don't want to be interrupted, but the track crimps towards the inside. All of them have to come off the power. Then they get the power down. There's plenty of grunt, but a sweeping move around the outside. Surely he's taking the lead for Southcote. No, couldn't get across. The TR7 was in his way. This allowed Ricky Can to get onto the tail as well. Danny Morris in the background. He looks like he's got the power down better out of Surtees. We've seen him overtake before, but the V8 Aston's got plenty of grunt. Accelerates up over the crest. Now they start going into the drop. In fact, just as though it looked Wayne Crabtree was about to be overtaken, he worked the traffic very nicely indeed, and a little lift for Southcote. Didn't want to collect the back of the car they were lapping. That lost him momentum. Just as he carried a bit more out of Graham Hill Bend. It really is nip and tuck and give and take in this battle. For Danny Morris, clear line of sight. He's got to get past the Aston Martin, but that Aston Martin's got grunt far heavier. You can just compare these cars. Couldn't be more different. The Viol liveried Porsche keeping out of the way. Danny Morris able to keep the wide line he wanted. So first, second, third and fourth. And Rod Burley trying to hang on, but he just doesn't seem to have the grunt to stay with them. Use his knowledge to take pole position, but BMW looks very standard in comparison to some of these cars ahead. Talk about the grunt of the Aston Martin. It was good enough to take second position. I didn't see if Southcote was a little bit limited going through Clearways and Clark Curve, but Ricky Cann decided now was the time. He wanted to get Danny Morris off his tail. He's got a buffer up in second place. Danny Morris looking, might even take second, third place up into Drury's. No, he's waiting his time. Maybe he'll be better to try and make the move at Surtees. Roche is a little bit wide. Southcote has a bit more handling in his car. Down the hill on the tail of the Aston Martin. Wayne Crabtree starting to escape in the RS200 at the front of the field. And Rod Burley dropping off the tail of this battle for second, third, fourth and fifth. Very good exit from Surtees is what you require if you want a drag up the hill here, and Danny Morris did that very well indeed. Loads of handling, big rear wing. Oh dear, car 11, the BMW off at the side circuit. That's Clive Anderson. He'd been running well. He was in sixth place overall, but going no further. Unfortunately, in the Team Prism Motorsport BMW E30. Let's hope that's somewhere that doesn't interrupt the racing, because we've had cars in gravel that brought out safety car periods. Wayne Crabtree picking his way up the order, getting a little bit compromised there. He's got a Capri to pass as well, and suddenly Ricky Cann goes one side. Oh, the RS200 clips the tail ender, and clearly he's gone round, but has he got a puncture or even broken rear suspension there near the left-hand rear of the car, sitting down on the track by the looks of things. So Ricky Cann goes into the lead of the race. That was on lap number 8, and Crabtree, well, he had to guess which way to go. Didn't expect to have the contact. Contact was made, and suddenly the order has changed all over again. This is a replay coming out of Sheen Curve. It's only a very short run, but the MG kept coming across. Probably didn't expect him up the inside, and Ricky Cann had already committed himself to the outside, and that proved to be the way to go. So Ricky Cann was fifth, was fourth, was third, was second, and he's now having a go in the lead of the race. Can he hold it for the next 6 minutes and a bit? Certainly in terms of grunt, it looks so he can. So drama guaranteed at Brands Hatch today, and just looking at that left rear suspension, or is it just simply a puncture? But the RS200 limping home, had been leading. Southcote had been very busy trying to catch him, but it was Ricky Cann who moved into second place and thus inherited the lead. And when they cross the start-finish line, 1.745 seconds between Ricky Cann in the pale blue and orange Aston Martin, and Southcote giving chase. Then comes Danny Morris in third place. He's another 2.5 seconds further back. Rod Burley, though, still in the battle, running around now in fourth place. But for Ricky Cann, he must be going, thank goodness I just committed myself to the outside around that red MG. Modsports, as we left this corner, Sheen Curve, and it was the right way to go. And then no contact for him, so taking the lead when they turned into, before they turned into Stirling's. Oh, another Anglia parking up at the side of the circuit, this time car number 71, Stephen Moss. So sitting in plain sight, but it's not the best place to leave your car. Ricky Cann comes flashing past, and that's brought out the checkered flag, and the car's gone off in the background. Southcote has just lost second place on the final corner. The race slightly curtailed here as the curfew came at Brands Hatch. And suddenly that means Danny Morris takes third, and Rod Burley would take second, and Rod Burley will take third. Oh, dearie me. So for 176, Southcote, what a disappointment. He had such an exciting race. Could have, when he hadn't got the legs to stay with the Aston Martin. Ricky Cann, a clear winner. But Danny Morris in the race, giving tribute to his late brother Ricky Parker Morris, takes a very fitting second place overall. And for Rod Burley, he started on pole, just about hung on to that battle, the top 5 cars, and suddenly at the end there he is in third place. And obviously, rather than bring out a safety car because that Anglia sitting on the start-finish straight in a dangerous position, the decision has been made, probably very wise indeed. But obviously for Southcote, if it could come a lap earlier for him, he would have held on to that second place. But alas, he's in the gravel as a non-finisher. And that means car 101 comes up to fourth place right at the end of the race. And we haven't talked about Malcolm Harding at all. His Escort Mark II, very well driven. He takes fourth place. He worked his way forward, moved ahead of Ian Hall, who was running near the front most of the race in the Darien. And sixth place at the end to Joe Ward in Baby Bertha. Another car in the DTV Vauxhall livery. There we are, car number 31, just running around to entertain the fans on this final lap. Thomas Carey running in that Chevette version. And as the dust sort of settles over Brands Hatch and the cars report back, the race curtailed by the Anglia sitting on the start-finish straight. But I think a deserved victory for Ricky Can. Fought very hard to work his way through the pack and moved up several places and kept on moving up several places, and in the end took the lead from Southcote. Wayne Crabtree will feel a little unfortunate because he had the clash, lost in the lead, but Ricky Can was there to pounce in the Aston Martin. And the final few cars coming over the start-finish line right now. So that is action at Brands Hatch to a conclusion, and a drama pretty much from the start to the finish in that race. But for anybody who managed to finish, it was actually quite an achievement. For Wayne Crabtree, who fell, for Southcote, who fell, disappointment for the pair of those. And for Danny Morris, I think it's very special, of course, this race in memory of his brother Ricky Parker Morris, who died early this year. Such stalwarts of the scene for the classic Saloon Car Club. MGB's in the mix as well. That's car number 72, just coming over the start-finish line for the last time to take the checker flag. That's the car driven by Wells. That should pretty much be the last car over the start-finish line. But to the winner, it was Ricky Can. That much I can tell you, by 6 seconds in the end. Ricky Can sharing with Sam Wilson, but Ricky Can did the driving because it was supposed to be a two-race race. Danny Morris taking second place, and Rod Burley from pole back to third, but he drove well to stay with some cars that were clearly that little bit harder. Malcolm Harding and Ian Hall and Joe Ward completed the top 6 runners, but what a race of incidents. And at the end, Ricky Can drove really beautifully. He chose his moments where he put the big Aston Martin V8 power down on the circuit and was very, very tidy in traffic. And for Danny Morris, he picked his way up from some distance further back down the grid and brought that Peugeot into second place. And really, it was such an exciting race, particularly when you had the top 5 running nose to tail. 5 totally different sorts of cars being driven in different fashions, but just pure entertainment here at Brands Hatch, as always put on by the special saloons and Modsports. And still a huge grid of cars we had, and so many finishers, just a few cars. Wayne Crabtree down there didn't finish, 27th position, 2 laps down, but retired to the pits with the suspension damage after that clash. So, what a grid of cars. 36 cars came out to play. Not all of them got to the finish, but I really feel that congratulations to Ricky Can for that victory in the Aston Martin, and a special mention for Danny Morris, the race in tribute of his brother, the late Ricky Parker Morris, and great to see him take that second place. And that is that from Brands Hatch from 2021. Thank you very much for watching.